One of the most important steps in the selling process as a real estate agent is the follow-up call with a for sale by owner. Call I'm about to make, it's a people don't like the word follow, but following up with a prospect for my client to get a listing for her, and he's overpricing this property way too much. So I gotta share some bad news with him. Hopefully, I can persuade him to be realistic about it and see what we can do. Good afternoon, it's Paul Cruz. How you doing?
I'm good, Paul. I'm good.
Hey, I'm doing good. Did you get my email? Or?
I did, but you misspelled the email, so I didn't receive it.
Yeah, I actually forwarded because I did spell it correctly and it didn't come back. So I did forward it to the right ad. It's Tommy P Montoya, right? At Gmail.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it right the second time.
Okay, I'll take a look at it. Check my email after that one. But yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Okay, do you have a few minutes real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Ms. Jody and I went over the process, and one of the things we like to do is be practical and realistic with potential clients and stuff like that. And sometimes it's telling them what they don't want to hear, but what they need to hear. You have an absolute beautiful home. There's no doubt about that. It's custom made. But at 735 is way out there. It's not gonna happen. I could tell you some of the strategies that I think maximum we can get, and I'm doing it based on the current market sale, which there's not a lot of them. There's one in, let me see here, 1652 Calle Velasquez sold, let me see, when did they sell? April of this year, right? And the other one sold in July of last year, and then the one before that is in 2022. So the median prices right now, and you have about 200 square foot more than the one that sold at the highest price, and that one took 83 days. So yeah, we're looking at a recommended price. This is the median range of 552 to 233, but we could probably go as high as 600,000 realistically, and I'll tell you why. The one that sold the highest was 600,000, and it had less square footage. All right, let me see. When did it sell? April 10th, 2025. It sold for 600,000. One, yeah, it's Arco de Goya, right? It was. Yeah. It was in the market for 20 days. The 1652 Calle de Velasquez, which is right next door to you, sold January 22 for 588,000, and then the one in July 24 sold for 468. Now, the difference is that yours could be a potential investment, but even at 735 is just too high as an investor, even though with the cash flow and potential Airbnb, you know what I mean? Unless they charge you a lot for that.
Yeah.
My question is twofold. Number one is, how did you come up with 735? And number two, what did it cost you to build the house?
Well, I was at 730. I think my wife made a mistake and she said 735. Even 730, I think that's probably still too high.
Yeah.
So I think realistically, we should be at around 7. And it cost me about 465 to build.
Okay, 465. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, 465. Okay. So, and it's a new house, and because it's custom made, like I mentioned to you before, if it was a mass development and houses are similar, more people intend to, like going to a Walmart, right? But now you're going to a Neiman Marcus. There's very few of that caliber that could afford a Neiman Marcus thing because it's a higher price, right? So you got to have a certain target audience. So, I would say within 60 days, the way she markets it, worst case scenario, we could really get a good price between 575, to 600,000. Now, that doesn't mean we can't get more because we're going to try to pull it. but I don't want to tell you what you want to hear. I need to tell you what you need to hear. And then anything above that is just gravy. So I like to undersell and overperform, and based upon what we did, and not even looking at the property. So this is just based on factual numbers. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
And I've kind of done analysis myself. Like, I've been open houses around the area, and these homes are, yeah, and they're, you know, they're not built as well as this one. They have the amenities that this house has.
Right.
And they're up there in price too.
Yeah, and they're not going to sell. And
that's how I came up with that.
Right.
Figure is location.
Yeah, but location is this. The location is one thing, but also targeting the right investors. See, there's investors and there's buyers, right? Yeah, so what happens is you could go to, there's a lot of listings and there's a lot of, you know, open houses, but that's not a really good indicator from my perspective, because that's why I don't do public showings. I do private showing. It gives the property more value. So I never look at that, even if they might be overpriced. The reality is, if they're listing it at a higher price, then the agent just wants a listing. That's just a fact. And then they know they're going to drop it down. So that's an old technique that doesn't really work anymore. So I don't do that. I like to go at the right price and then bid it up. It's just a strategy that's been very successful, and it may not be what you wanted, but it's something that we can perform. Because at the end, you know, if you could get $600,000 for it and you know still make a little bit money, you know, take the pressures off and all that, it'll save you a lot of time and money trying to, you know, get more than what the market is willing to bear. And believe me, if I could get 735, I would be on it like a flying horse manure. But you know, the reality is that's not what the market will bear. What I mean by the market, the buyers determine the market because they're the ones that bring the money. So I have to look at what are they willing to bear in order to buy. And with interest rates high, the Fed doesn't want to lower the prices because of politics and things like that. It's just hurting, you know, some potential buyers. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So, you know, if it costs you $465 and we list it at $6, you know, that's, you know, minus the commission, and we're willing to pay the marketing costs. You know what I mean? You know, we're willing to, marketing costs to target the right buyer costs a lot of money to market, and Ms. Jody's willing to spend the money on marketing, and we won't have to stage it because you have furniture in the house, right? So, are you selling the furniture with the property? No. Oh, you're taking the furniture. Okay.
Not unless you get a better price.
Right, I got you.
Yeah, high-end furniture, and that's not furniture that's in the bedroom.
I got you. No, I was just asking because. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, because some people like to sell the house for, especially going through divorce, they just want to get rid of it. But if not, that's okay. You know what I mean? But we could show it with the furniture, which will attract, you know, because it'll give if it's an investor, it'll give them a vision of what it could be like as an Airbnb, which is one of the things we were listed under. Like, there's two types of buyers. You know, the regular buyer that, you know, is going to go traditional financing, and then the buyer or the investors that are looking at as an investment situation. You know what I mean?
Well, if it's not investing, you can consider you're not doing furniture with home.
Right. Right. Of course.
$600,000. Absolutely not.
Right.
So that's where I'm sitting.
Right. No, I understand. I mean, you know, I could tell you, you know, we could list it at 735. I'll be lying to you, you know, and I will never do that because, you know, you know what I mean.
You're wasting your time.
How was that?
You think you'd be wasting your time with that amount?
Yeah, and you know, the thing is, that doesn't mean someone won't see it and buy it. But that, like on a scale of 1 to 10, that's like a speculative stock. And I don't know if Ms. Jody will want to do that because it's her reputation. Again, you know, if you want us to list it at 735 and give it,
I don't really think that's reasonable.
Right.
You know, the more I think about it, I don't think that's a reasonable price.
Right.
Because of the political situation right now.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be going to recession.
Yes. So I'm going to tell you something that I've learned, okay? And I'm going to say this off the record, okay? Because I have to be very careful. I deal with investors almost every day, and I make decisions based upon what I call the exit strategy and the investment terminology. So if I know I have this, right, and I'm confident about it, then it's easier for me to enter, negotiate the right deal, because at least I know within a specific time it'll take place. But I don't want to say that because I don't want to give you false hope. But I'm doing it based upon the supply and demand. Very simple. If the market was going well, interest rates were low, you can people willing to overpay for property, which I think is still foolish because you make money when you buy, not when you sell. But I would say you could probably get more offers at 600,000 with a potential bidding the price of than you could at 735 and then bidding the price down, which is a waste of your time. It creates frustration, and at the end, to me, it's a deceptive practice in my personal view, and I'd rather not do that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
But I understand what you're saying. But you saying that you actually see the home, then I think.
Yeah, it could change. It could change. Yeah.
I'm not saying 730. I'm not saying that.
What?
So I'm thinking, at a higher price of say 685.
Right. What
price range.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we go there on Wednesday, right? Let's take a look at it, because that's going to be a determinant of things that we can't see on paper, right? There's things that, because it's like when you first meet somebody, you have a perceived value of them. Then as you build the relationship, the relationship is going to increase in value. Or when you peel the onion, you're going to say, hey, it smells bad. Let's not do that. So what I would suggest, let us have somebody go there. Let me find out if they could be there on Wednesday at 5 o'clock. If not, let's see what day they'll be available. Let's take a look at the whole thing. That could change, the view and the value of what we see. Because once you look, that's why they say don't ever put a listing price till you do the walkthrough. You ask some different questions. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna be a deciding factor for better or worse. You know what I mean? So Wednesday, you said Wednesday at 5. Okay, so let's do this. Let me call and find out if Wednesday would be good at 5. If Wednesday at 5 is not good, what would be another day and time?
Anytime this week.
Okay, all right, so let me do this. Let me call you back. Let's just keep this at a zero place right now. Let's just look at it. Let's look at the property. Then we could come back to the table. We could rerun some numbers, and it could either be high, it could be lower, but I think it could be sold if we do it the right way. I don't want this property out there more than 60 days. If we make a mistake and list it because we want to tell you what you want to hear, that's just wrong, man. We won't do it, Does that make sense? Okay. So let me do that. Let me speak with Miss Jody. Let me try to schedule a time for Wednesday or sometime this week. I'll definitely call you back, and check your email again to see if you received it. If not, I'll just resend it again, okay?
I'll do that.
All right, Tommy. I appreciate it. All right, talk to you later. Bye. One of the most valuable skills you can learn is the ability to solving sales problems. And I saved a listing for my client. All right, I just got off the phone with Tommy, okay? And I explained to him, what we talked about. He goes, yeah, I understand it's too high. I went over the comps, and I said, he's told me what he cost him to build, $465,000 it cost him. And I said, listen, the reality is you're not even going to get somebody to hook on 735 or even 710. So I told him, listen, what we could do is we could go anywhere from 575 to high as 600,000. And that's because at 600,000, it could be, we'll market it to potential investors for like Airbnb or something like that. So that would be the range. And Ms. Jody's willing to take care of the marketing costs, at 5%. She won't go lower than that. But we're not going to tell you what you want to hear. We're going to tell you what you need to. So he understood. He goes, yeah, I think 735 is too high. I said, listen, if you cost you 465 and we sell it at 575, that's $110,000 more minus commission. You're still making a little profit, and you're getting out of your nuisance. I said, if it's an investor for Airbnb, he says he's willing to offer and sell the furniture to them if they're going to do it as a business. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Okay, so what I suggest, I said, listen, let's not even talk about numbers. Why don't we do this? Why don't we schedule a time where we have somebody go there, take a look at it? Because once we look at it, it could make a big difference whether, we could price it a little higher or it may be a little lower, but I think we can help you. But the only way we can help you is telling you the truth, because Miss Jody's not gonna list a property at 700 or 735, knowing we're gonna drop it. That's deceptive practices. Yeah, and he loved that. He goes, you know what? I appreciate that. I go, listen, we want to help you. If we can't, then we have to walk away. And he goes, well, I said, how did you come up with 735? I go, well, I went to some open houses and walking through. They're not even close to my house. And I said, listen, you think those properties are gonna sell? They could be listed all they want, but the reality is, an agent lists them just to get a listing, but they're not gonna sell. So, open houses doesn't mean a good indicator of why you should list your property at. You got to look at what the buyers are willing to pay. You have a customer. So he likes that. I go, so let's just keep it at 0. Let us have somebody go there. Let's take a real look at it. It may change the way we see things. It might be a little high, might be a little less, but at least we're going to have a concrete number to be able to tell you this is the reason why we should do that. And he goes, I like that, Paul. So I think we could get him at 600,000, because he said, what, can we put it at 685? I said, I can't determine that. Only Miss Jody, but we will have to take a look at it, walk through it, and then we could give it 685. So I got him down 50,000. But I said, let's look at it, and then let us give you an absolute number that Ms. Jody thinks she could sell it at. Either from a buyer.
You know what I did with this one? I had a dabble, 13.31 acres with a nice home. I let the appraiser go in. I don't know what it's worth.
Right.
I'm not there. I don't work in that area.
Right.
And sometimes they will believe the assessor. Appraiser more than they'll allow us to big extent.
Right. Okay. So I think not talking about the price is a good thing for us, because now he's open-minded. I know he's a little desperate, and he says we could meet him anytime this week. It doesn't have to be Wednesday at 5. So listen, our agents are going to be busy. I don't know if I can get him at 5, but any day this week. He goes, yeah, any day this week. I said, I'll give you a call. So when you talk with Celeste, just have her let me know. But he says, okay.
Or she's not through, or she's in that thing and can't answer. I don't know.
No, that's fine. That's fine. At least I bought her some time, so we don't have to be there 5. You just let me know. So we're keeping, I told him 575 to 600 mag, but let's keep the door open when somebody goes in, actually looks at it, and then that could be the deciding factor. So he's okay with that. So I think we
that's good. You did good.
Yeah, I think we can get him. Because I got him to drop 50,000, I said, listen, the reality is at 700, anything over 700, forget about it. Let's just walk away. What about 685? That's when I know I had him. So I said, let's not even talk about pricing. We want to help you, but this is the only way we can help you. So just let Celeste know on that. Does that make sense? So I okay. All right. And you don't have it. Okay, you don't have anyone else there that could look at the property if Celeste can't make it?
I would get somebody.
Okay, I would like to, whoever you get, I would like to go with them, because I want to meet Tommy, because I think we hit it off, and just to see him, you know what I mean? That might be something of importance. Just an opinion. Let's see what she comes up with. Okay? All right, but I bought her some time and some pricing, so hopefully, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Talk to you in a bit.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye, Miss Jody.
Celeste, I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Jody. Bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye. That's what I do all day. I was my client was going to be the agent on the seller I was just talking to, and it looks pretty good. So that's how you deal with it. You come straight. You don't. You tell them the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Because you're setting the relationship on the right track, the right way, because then you earn the trust. And they know how you're going to work when shit hits the fan or something comes up. They know what to expect from you. Does that make sense? Talk to you later.
When I get asked, Paul, what do you do?
My answer is very simple. I solve sales problems, period.